Good morning everybody and welcome back to another Octane's Oracle here on the channel, where today I wanted to talk about, it's slightly LEGO related, it's a bit less so, but I wanted to talk about the more Nintendo side of our LEGO Zelda or LEGO Nintendo style stuff that we do here on the channel, because I've sort of entered what you might call a Nintendo renaissance, and that's by no means that I ever wasn't in love with the company, because I pretty much am company loyal for the majority of what I do. But just specifically recently, I don't know what it was, but we just started playing some different games and I've been having a lot of fun with them. And I thought I'd talk a bit about that, share some of the interesting stuff I've discovered, and obviously how that relates to LEGO, because it's sort of changed my priority list when it comes to see which licenses I could dream on seeing from the LEGO Nintendo partnership. And while I realise that the stuff I've been playing probably is less likely, but it's sort of it's still interesting to think about. And if anything else, I just want to say that yeah, and I'm really enjoying Nintendo right now, and that's no different to how it normally is, but just especially right now. So the two that I'm mainly going to talk about today would be Pikmin 3 Deluxe and Age of Calamity. Now, obviously, I have played Age of Calamity before. However, I recently started up a second play file, and I'm just going through it again, and it still feels like a fresh game to me. Now, I know a lot of people don't particularly like the warrior-style combat, but honestly, I've kind of grown used to it. I really love the fluidity, and it's very satisfying, of course. Obviously, just like with Breath of the Wild, my satisfaction increases with the speed of the playstyle, because I do not like two-handed weapons, so that immediately ruled Daruk out for me as someone that was going to play well, as far as someone I was going to enjoy playing as. But I was surprised how much further than Link I actually went, because initially when I went in the first time, I assumed that Link would be the only character that would actually be any good for me, and I wouldn't enjoy anyone else, and that would be the end of the story. However, this wasn't exactly true. I found myself experimenting a bit more and made it my mission to try every character to at least some level, and I found myself very much enjoying Zelda's Sheikah Slate ability set. That's just fun and wacky to me. I also particularly enjoyed Rivali and Mitha as the favourite two of the champions. Surprisingly less so for Bosa and Daruk, as I mentioned. Hestu was sort of just in the middle, and surprisingly Impa is probably my least favourite on the roster, where I've got up to my second playthrough where I'm really thinking about it this time. Obviously I know there are more characters and I've always unlocked them before, but for this second one, I'm just focusing on what I've been doing now. And to be honest, from what I've played so far, I kind of want to do a third one just on the hard difficulty. Not very hard, because that's practically impossible and I'm not any good at the game. But I would like to try it on the harder difficulty, give it a struggle. But it is very satisfying just to mow them down and go through the motions, and just surprisingly well crafted game. And I realise it's not a Nintendo first party, but because they had such a heavy hand with it, it's just amazing. I've just really loved my time with the Switch this last couple of months. It's just been incredible. I don't know why it's so different to my experience before, because I always have enjoyed it, but just something magical about it this time around, and that's really what I'm trying to get at. But Age of Calamity is something I don't think we'll ever get Lego sets for, mainly because it's another license that's a bit like with Pokemon, isn't it? You don't just have to get Nintendo, you have to get Pokemon on board, and then you have to do any crossovers, and it's just something that I think's one step too difficult for them. Not to say that it isn't impossible, and we could see based stuff around it for Breath of the Wild sets, but I don't think we'd ever see any official branding or any giant warrior style sets. Also, it really doesn't suit the Lego build style as well, although I did manage to make it work for the Clan Attacks custom set. All you got to do is just replace Suga, and it's just a normal Breath of the Wild set, just set in a weird place. But overall, the last thing I should say for Age of Calamity is that I've been really enjoying my time with it, been struggling not to get re-addicted, and just enjoying the roster and the missions. I think my favourite's still got to either be Clan Attacks or the Road Home Besieged. I've been really enjoying those two stages, but then again, almost all of them are just at least okay, better than average. Moving on to the other game I want to talk about, and this I suppose is the more revolutionary one, but I played my first Pikmin game in the second half of this year, starting in November, and that is something that I've been really enjoying. I've been using two-player mode, and we've been having a lot of fun with that, just making it a bit more of a different experience for me. I'm not someone that usually plays multiplayer, but no, I found it a lot of fun. The strategy is really good. The stress levels are surprising. it's a weird one. I don't understand how it works, but it really motivates you to try and do as much as possible. And the sense of failure when you don't achieve what you wanted in the day is really large. And the stress is fun stress, but it's just so interesting as a mechanic. The Pikmin are of course adorable. The enemies are also great. You may have seen me on a couple of Octane's Oracles ago. I was building bulb orbs because of my newfound appreciation for the game series. And you know what? The first thought I had of it is it just felt so Nintendo. From the minute you started up that title screen, it was already sort of like a it's good to be back sort of thing. It's not a franchise I've touched before. Originally, I had considered trying it in the Wii U era, but then there'd been so many Zelda games and other stuff that I just never got around to it. And now that I have, I'm really glad that I did, because it is really a lot of fun. Again, I cannot wait to just go through it like on my own single player version as well, just seeing how far I can push it. But I'm going to wait until after I've done the two player, so I don't get any spoilers for if I end up going ahead of our two player file. But no, I really enjoyed it. I think it's great. I've got so many like first memories with that, just like with Breath of the Wild, where I remember the first time I tried with the bee camp, or my favourite one, which was ragdolling down nature to solve that puzzle. But with Pikmin, I can clearly remember my two mass extinction events. Learning bomb rocks for the first time, where I blew everyone up. Yeah, that was a big setback. um, and the time I walked off a bridge and drowned 50 in one go, because yeah. But no, it's I've been enjoying spiraling out a bit. I really do love the Zelda series. It will always be my go-to point. But I've had the interesting experience of trying two new genres, in a sense, and it's been great. I also did play the Metroid Dread demo, and while I liked it, I'm just a bit nervous of my ability for that one, so maybe I'll end up picking that up or not. But I think from what I have seen of the game, I would like LEGO to make an attempt on Metroid in LEGO form, and as like the third one. It's sort of the third pinnacle for Nintendo as far as like franchises go. So I think that could be interesting. Yeah, no, I just wanted to talk about it because it's been such an interesting experience for me, because I've just sort of plodded along with games for the longest time. I've played them, I've enjoyed them, but I spent the last 5 years or so with basically Breath of the Wild, Skyward Sword, and the retro Zeldas, so Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, and Wind Waker, and such. So to spread out this year was really enjoyable, and I still think the company managed to excel at the games it produced, and I have no problems with them. I'm looking forward to trying Luigi's Mansion 3 at some point in 2022. Obviously, Breath of the Wild 2 being a much looked forward to game, and anything else that I stumble across as well. So yeah, well, interesting. Maybe some more different custom sets to come. I don't think we'll particularly see Lego for Pikmin or anything, which is a shame, because that would be a lot of fun. Maybe if they did a Nintendo wider CMF, we could see Olimar, but the Pikmin would just be too hard to represent outside of a scale. I mean, that's the only thing. What about like the buildable Grogu or buildable BB-8, just like giant red Pikmin? I could see that happening. That could be some fun. But that would be like such a Wild Wing Lego set that I'd have to buy. It would just be so cool. Either way, there's some thoughts here. I'm just enjoying Nintendo right now, and it is partially to blame for the lack of custom sets that I should have been working on. But as you saw on Monday, I did do a nice new series. So let me know your favourite non-Zelda Nintendo IP down below in the comments. Let me know what you thought of today's video as well. And I will see you in the future with hopefully some less sappy content. But that is for another day, and we will see you then. So thank you for watching, and have a good day. Bye bye.